Welcome to Financial Focus, brought to you by GulfCoast Financial Services founder and CEO, John Kuykendall. John and his team of financial, legal, and tax professionals have been providing North Florida savers and investors sound, comprehensive financial guidance for over 30 years, helping you to achieve important life and planning goals. Be sure to like, subscribe, share, and tune in for more Financial Focus by visiting GulfCoastFinancial.net.
And welcome into the program. This is Financial Focus, brought to you by the best of the best in financial services, 8 straight years and running, as named by the readers of the Lake City Reporter, celebrating more than 31 years in serving North Central Florida savers and investors, being proactive, formulating those plans. And CEO and founder John Kuykendall here with us from GulfCoast Financial Services. We always appreciate the time, John. A very serious topic on today's program.
Yeah, Peter, the debt ceiling is something that I'm not sure that a lot of people are concerned about. We hear a lot of news about it, and we listen to the rhetoric on all the social media and all. But I don't think we understand totally what it's going to affect or how it affects. One thing we have to realize is that our debt now is $31 trillion. And that's $94,000 for each U.S. citizen. The highest in our history. And so, something has got to be done about the debt. But right now, something has to be done about the debt ceiling because, the government can only spend so much money. And then that ceiling, when they bump up to that ceiling, which they approached this, I believe, like in January, that they couldn't spend anymore. Then they have until June 5th to get it increased for the new budget. And so it's a tedious time with a lot of politicians working back and forth, but it affects all of us because if we don't get the debt ceiling increased, then our Social Security checks, our Medicare payments, the government workers, a lot of different things, including the stock market, are affected. And so it's going to affect every American if it isn't increased. But we need to work on lowering debt long term, Peter.
And two factors, John, have caused an increased strain on the Treasury: weakening tax receipts and the rise of interest rates. We crossed that threshold of the debt ceiling back in January, as you mentioned. And since then, the Fed, U.S. Treasury, has been spending out of the general account, basically cash on hand. But what do individual savers and investors need to be doing as we enter into this negotiation where both sides seem to be playing chicken with the world's largest economy?
Well, for one thing, Peter, is the stock market's going to be very volatile. And so we need to kind of make our portfolios more defensive. We need to get a lot more conservative right now. And here we are in May, and we still haven't reached gotten that ceiling approval yet. So the market's going to get even more volatile as we go forward if we don't reach the ceiling soon. So I would say that we need to kind of make our portfolios more defensive. There are some attractive money market accounts right now, attractive short-term CDs. T-bills are very short-term, are very attractive. So we need to be kind of making our portfolio not so heavily aggressive as we move forward. Hopefully the government will see what this does to our economy and to the nation. And it's a very serious matter, and they will take and address this soon. But right now, as you said, we're bipartisan. We've got both sides playing chicken. And, at some point in time, we've got to say enough and get together and get this thing raised.
Now, the Fed has had 10 straight rate hikes and the fastest pace for interest rate increases in more than 40 years. Is this a bit of a self-induced problem there, John, or is the problem more far-reaching in the lack of control over spending?
Well, I think the lack of spending, control over spending. As you know, we suspended the debt ceiling during COVID. The government added $6 trillion to our debt, and we gave away a lot of money. We put a lot of money in circulation. Inflation got to the point where it was double digit, and the Fed had to react. And so the Fed raised rates in order to help cut inflation and to help cut the overall cost of spending for consumers. But, now we need to get a handle on this. And eventually, I think the Fed may be able to cut interest rates. But as you said, the amount of spending that we're having to do now for the interest on the debt is almost, we've spent in the first quarter almost what we spent all last year on the debt service. And so we have to do something about that.
You speak all the time, John, about how individuals, couples, planners need to understand their spending habits and have a plan for income generation to stay within their parameters. It'd be nice if that lesson transferred and translated over to the government as well, I suppose.
Well, I think that the government's going to find that in this day and time with higher interest rates, higher inflation, that we can't just spend like we want to. We need to spend like we need to, but not like we want. So we tell our people all the time, there are wants and needs. The wants, we have to wait until we can afford them, and the needs we need to take care of today. And the same thing with the government. This situation, Peter, debt's not inelastic. We can't just keep creating debt. Sooner or later, we have to start paying this back. And, the fact that it's $31 trillion right now, that's a lot of money, and it's a lot of debt service, I can tell you that.
Well, we need to have that plan in place to survive different markets and cycling economies, and certainly facing some headwinds here as we try to resolve this debt ceiling issue. John, I know that the plans that you put together for your clients, they adapt, they change, they evolve over time, but they also are geared to help us have that lasting financial confidence regardless of what the environment may bring and what headwinds we do face. So we appreciate your time here addressing this serious issue of this debt ceiling debate. Hopefully Congress can get their act together.
I hope so, Peter. Let's hope that gets it done quick. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Thank you. And if you'd like to get your plan together, review, evaluate your current investments, retirement accounts, pick up the phone, give Gulf Coast Financial Services a call, 386-755-9018, 386-755-9018. John, once again, pleasure.
Thanks, Peter. Have a good week.
Be sure to like, subscribe, share, and tune in for more financial focus by visiting GulfCoastFinancial.net. The information presented on this program is provided for informational purposes only, without warranty of accuracy, completeness, or suitability for a particular purpose. This program is not intended to be and does not constitute financial, investment, legal, or tax advice. This information is general in nature and not specific enough to be construed as advice. You should not make any decision based on the information presented on this program without independent consultation with an appropriately licensed professional or competent advisor. Investment in securities or the market involves a potential risk for loss of principal. Trading, therefore, may not be suitable for all listeners. Annuity guarantees are based solely on the financial strength and claims-paying ability of the issuing company. Withdrawals of growth from annuities may be taxable as ordinary income in the year it is taken. Individuals should review contracts for specific details of the product's features and costs. Early withdrawals may subject the owner to penalties, fees, or taxes. John Kuykendall is registered with and securities are offered through Kovac Securities, Inc., member FINRA SIPC, found online at www.kovacsecurities.com. Advisory services are offered through Gulf Coast Financial Services, Inc., a registered investment advisor in Florida. Gulf Coast Financial Services, Inc. is not affiliated with Kovac Securities, Inc. or Kovac Advisors, Inc. Past performance is not indicative of future results. All investing involves risk. Investment decisions should be based on your own goals, time horizon, and tolerance for risk. Due to various factors including changing market conditions and/or applicable laws, the content may no longer be reflective of current opinions or positions.